Some nights feel like any other, just a routine, another job to get done. But every now and then, one night changes everything. For me, it was a late-night delivery I almost didn't come back from. It's a story I've replayed in my head more times than I care to admit. And every time, I ask myself the same question: what would have happened if I stayed? It all started when I signed up for DoorDash. Like so many others, I was curious if it was as good as advertised. For the first month, I hesitated, unsure if I could juggle it alongside my regular grocery store job. But eventually, I gave it a shot. From my first delivery, I was hooked. The freedom to choose my hours and the instant income were too good to pass up. Within a few months, I'd quit my grocery job entirely and started dashing full-time after school and on weekends. This job gave me the flexibility I needed, and I loved it, until one particular night changed everything. It was a holiday weekend, which meant high demand and extra income for dashers like me. I decided to push myself, working from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m., mostly shuttling orders back and forth from a 24/7 McDonald's. Around 2:15 a.m., I picked up what I thought would be my last order of the night, a delivery to a warehouse. The instructions were straightforward: go in through the side door and leave the order at the front desk. It didn't seem out of the ordinary at first. When I arrived, the warehouse looked abandoned. The parking lot was mostly empty, save for a few semi-trucks. The building itself was a large, windowless rectangle with just a single front door and one side door. I double-checked the instructions to make sure I was in the right place. Everything matched. I parked near the side door, a heavy metal one with a small glass window, and stepped out into the cold night. Peering through the window, I saw only darkness. A faint safety light in the corner provided the barest hint of visibility, but there was no sign of a front desk, or anyone at all. The silence was unnerving. I pushed the door open, stepping into the dimly lit entrance room. It was just as empty and quiet as it had seemed from outside. A sense of unease began to creep in, but I pressed on. Rounding a corner, I found myself at the entrance to a long, pitch-black corridor. The light behind me barely illuminated the first few feet, and the end of the hallway was lost in darkness. I hesitated. The quiet, the darkness, the stillness, it all felt wrong. Most night shift locations dimmed their lights to save energy, but this was excessive. I pulled out my phone to double-check the delivery details again. Everything matched. This was the place. But where was the front desk? Where were the night workers? Feeling uneasy, I decided to call the customer for clarification. I dialed the number listed in the app and waited. From the other end of the hallway, a faint phone ringtone echoed back. My breath caught in my throat. The sound grew louder and closer with each ring. My eyes adjusted just enough to make out the faint glow of a phone screen in the distance. A figure holding it and standing in the dark. "Hey, I've got an order here for DoorDash," I said, my voice shaky. "I'm just going to leave it right here for you." I set the bag down on the floor and took a step back. The figure started to move. It was a man, tall and broad, emerging from the darkness. He didn't speak, didn't acknowledge me in any way. He just walked, too quickly and unnervingly, straight toward me. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to leave. I turned and walked quickly back to the door, trying not to break into a run. I felt the man's presence behind me, his footsteps heavy and deliberate. By the time I reached my car and looked back, I saw movement behind the small glass window of the metal door. He was standing there, watching. I didn't wait. I started my car and drove away, my heart pounding in my chest. I tried to rationalize the encounter, convincing myself it was just a weird situation. Maybe the guy was on edge, working late and tired. Maybe the warehouse was short-staffed. I didn't know. But 2 days later, on Monday evening, I got a call that shattered my rationalizations. It was the police. They questioned me about why I'd been at that warehouse at 2:30 a.m. on Saturday. Apparently, the building was closed for the holiday weekend, and security footage showed my car pulling up to the side door. I explained I was a DoorDash driver, delivering an order. I even provided the receipt to prove it. That's when they told me the chilling truth. The warehouse workers had returned from their holiday break to find the DoorDash bag sitting in the middle of the hallway, exactly where I'd left it. The building had been broken into. Someone had created a fake DoorDash account to lure me there. And here's the part that still haunts me. They didn't even take the food. The police speculated that whoever had been in the warehouse wasn't interested in the delivery itself. They were after something or someone. To this day, I can't stop asking myself what their real plan was. Did they want to rob me? Harm me? Why did they stop when I left? There's no way to know for sure, but one thing is certain. If I'd stayed even a moment longer, I might not be here to tell this story. After that night, I changed how I approached DoorDash. No more late-night deliveries and no more entering buildings. If something felt wrong, I trusted my gut and walked away. Jobs come and go. Money can be replaced. But your safety? That's something you can't gamble with. If you ever find yourself feeling uneasy, don't ignore it. Trust your instincts. Walk away. Because sometimes, the scariest dangers aren't lurking in the shadows. They're standing right in front of you. I hope you like this story. Please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, then subscribe to the channel because you will get to see similar videos on this channel. I'll see you again in a more scarier story.